Welcome in, guys, to my NFL Week 12 recap. I just got done watching the Steelers Colts game. My God, I'm glad I had some beer watching that because that was a boring game. But I'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about the Thanksgiving games we had this past Thursday. We had the Bills versus the Lions. Going into the game, the Bills were 7-3. Going into the game, the Lions were 4-6. The Bills got the job done, 28-25. Von Miller, though, is a big concern. He did walk off injured, so I don't know how his injury is. But again, that's a big loss for them if it's a long period of time for the Bills. But again, the Bills are now 8-3. The Lions are now 4-7. Then we have the Giants versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys win 20-28 and get the win. Then we had the Patriots versus the Vikings. Patriots are 6-4 going into this game, and then the Vikings, who again I want to say Kevin O'Connell's done a fantastic job in Minnesota. He got the win 26-33 on Thursday night. Then we go to the early Sunday games. The Falcons versus the Commanders, 13-19 to the Commanders. They got the win. Now the Commanders are 7-5, and the Falcons are now 5-7. Then we had Bears football. That's right, Bears football in New York / New Jersey. Mike White started for the Jets, and I'm glad that Zach Wilson has been benched because again, I look at him as a quarterback. I don't think that he is the dude for the Jets. In my opinion, I don't think he's a good quarterback. Again, and then this is a warning for kind of some of the teams. He was like second overall last year in the 2021 draft, and a year later, he's benched to Mike White, who's just got a game in the NFL. The Bears didn't have Justin Fields for this game because he had that injury because of Getz. He's like, let's run the ball and kill this quarterback instead of actually developing a quarterback. They started Trevor Siemian in the game. He had an okay showing, but again, he's just Trevor Siemian. You're not going to get like a really good performance from him. Byron Pringle got his first touchdown as a Bears player to make it 10-3. Then Johnson got the win to make it 10-31. The Jets' defense is getting them where they are today, and the Jets are now 7-4. Bears are now 3-9. Again, you look at this. The thing that matters, wins and losses don't matter for the Bears, but what matters is Justin Fields' development, and this offensive line needs replacing. You should not work on your defense. I know that gets you like 3rd and 12. I know on Sunday it was like 1st and 10, halfback down, field goal. Fuck that bullshit. How about you actually protect your young quarterback and actually help you in the passing game? He's great running the ball, but you've run him into the damn ground. How about you actually fucking work on his passing game and have a better supporting unit with him? But again, this is like, we're going to put it to 3rd and 12, halfback down. Santos is going to get the field goal. And then we're going to run our quarterbacks in the fucking ground. But anyway, the Jets get a win. Then we had the Texans versus the Dolphins. Dolphins they're in a good season. They're 8-3 now. Tua, his stats for the game, he had 22 out of 36 throws, 299 yards, 1 touchdown. Wilson Jr. had 13 carries, 39 yards, and 1 touchdown. I want to say though, I love the work that Mike McDaniels has done with this Dolphins team. He's got the offensive line around Tua. Tua's actually had a pretty good season in my opinion. He's turned his career around in the NFL. I know this time last year people was like, is Tua really a good quarterback? Is he really going to be the dude really for the Dolphins? And it just shows that changing the head coach really has helped Tua. Tua again, and the Dolphins get the win here 15-30. David Mills was benched for this game. They find the Texans just keep losing all these games and then try to get out first place. you're going to get that first place in the draft anyway for 2023. Then we had the Bengals versus the Titans. The Titans were 7-3 going into this game. Bengals were 6-4. Again, I've said my thing before about the Bengals and their offensive line. Questions about them, but sometimes what frustrates me with the Bengals is that they can have good games and then bad games. They haven't had that run of games where they're consistent. But you have it here. They get a win 23-16. You had Joe Burrow, who had 22 out of 37 carries, 270 yards, 1 touchdown. Higgs had 7 reps, 114 yards, 1 touchdown. Derrick Henry had 17 carries and 38 yards. Then we had the Ravens versus the Jags, 27-28. Even though the Jags were a dumpster fire, Doug Pearson is trying to get the best out of this team as he can. And Trevor Lawrence, maybe you should go in for a quarterback. I'm not sold on him as a quarterback in the NFL. But the stats for this game, you had Lamar Jackson at 25, 254 yards. He had 16 out of 32 throws. Hasty had 12 carries and 28 yards. And the Jags are now 4-7. The Ravens are 7-4. Then we had the Broncos versus the Panthers. Again, just two teams that are a dumpster fire. They're both 3-8. Both 3-7, 3-8. The Panthers get the job done 10-23. And when you're getting beaten by a Sam Darnold-led quarterback team, there has to be questions in your front office. Nathaniel Hackett has to be fired this week. If he's getting beaten by Sam Darnold as a starting quarterback, you're getting your ass kicked by Sam Darnold. Just put that in perspective. Sam Darnold, who was not good for the Jets, you're getting your ass kicked. And then Foreman had 24 carries and 117 yards in that game. We had the Bucks versus the Browns. The Browns get the win 17-23. The last call of the game, which is Nick Chubb, he's scrambling to get to the end zone, gets a touchdown, and the Browns win 17-23. Brisker has 29 out of 45 throws, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then we have the Rams versus the Chiefs. And again, the Rams, I know that all last year they was going all out and going for the here and now, going to win a championship, and they're not thinking about the future. And looking at now, good thing that they actually won that Super Bowl last year, because look at them now. Cooper Kupp's injured for the rest of the year. That offensive line looks bad. Matthew Stafford's been bad this year. The whole Rams team has been bad. But the Chiefs been looking great this year. They're 9-2 now. 10-26. Mahomes had 27 out of 42 throws, 320 yards, 1 touchdown. Pacino had 22 carries and 69 yards. Then we had the Raiders versus the Seahawks, 40-34 in overtime. Derek Carr got 25 out of 36 throws, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Then we had the Chargers versus the Cardinals. Again, Cliff Kingsbury, I think his time is over in Phoenix. They lost 25-24. And again, there's one thing with Kyler Murray. It's 3rd and 6. He's like looking around, like, just get rid of the fucking ball for God's sake. He's like looking, oh what the fuck? Just get rid of the damn ball for God's sake. Find somebody or just throw it out for God's sake. That was on 3rd and 6. But the Chargers won 25-24 to get the job done. Then we had the Saints versus the 49ers. The 49ers give the Saints a shutout of 0-13. The Saints roll on and get the win. Then we have the primetime game on Sunday night. Packers versus Eagles. Eagles are 9-1. The Packers, they spent heavily on that defense and didn't. Okay, you could spend on the defense, but focus on the offensive bit. The offensive side of the ball is the more important thing than the defense side of the ball. You've lost Devontae Adams and you replace him with Sammy Watkins, for God's sake. Come on. When you give Aaron Rodgers a 3-year deal, okay, he's got his money. He's like, fuck it, I don't want to play in it. Aaron Rodgers is like, I've got the 3-year deal. I'm not going to play. I don't give a fuck. I've got this big ass bit of cash a month for 3 years. And look at your return. You're now 4-8. You're 4-8 now for the year. You're not going to reach the playoffs. And I think for the rest of the year, the Packers they should start John Love for the rest of the year. See what you have. Start John Love because he's not going to be any worse than having Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the games. But the Eagles win that 33-40. Jalen Hurts has 16 out of 28 throws, 153 carries. 16 out of 28 throws, 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then we had tonight's game. Why was this on primetime TV? Why? Just what? Because Jeff Saturday was on ESPN. We're going to give this guy a favor by putting Jeff Saturday on primetime. This game fucking sucked. I'm glad it's over. 24-17. Steelers get the win. A bit of concern kind of issue for the Steelers that Najee Harris kind of went off in the second quarter. He came back, but I don't know how bad the injury is. But the Steelers get the win 24-17. And that is your NFL recap for week 12. Leave your guys' thoughts on this week in the NFL. Leave your guys' thoughts on week 12 in the comments. And I'll see you later on.